Before you run any Google Ads campaigns for your business, you will need to make sure that you have your conversion tracking completely set up and configured. Otherwise, Google will not be able to optimize towards the goals that you're actually aiming for. Today, I'm going to show you how to set up conversion tracking inside of Google Tag Manager, which is our preferred method for keeping everything in the one place and nice and tidy. Now, for this video, I'm going to assume that you already have Google Tag Manager installed and connected with Google Analytics 4. So that is your Google Tag, and then as well as your basic conversion tracking, which is the contact form submission, the email link click, and the phone link click. If you don't have any of these set up, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description right now. Just pause the video and make sure that you set these up before we get into this tutorial today. So now the first thing we need to do is install a Google Ads tag in Google Tag Manager. And for that, we need to find our destination ID. So I'm just going to go over to our client's Google Ads account right here, which hasn't had any conversion tracking set up yet. And what you want to do is come down to Tools, click on Data Manager. From here, where it says Google Tag, click Manage, click this tag, and this is what we're looking for right here, the destination ID. And this code actually starts with an AW, so that's how you know you've got the right one. Your screen might look slightly different to this, but as long as you find this code here, we're able to set it up in Google Tag Manager. Just going to copy that code, and now we'll come back to Google Tag Manager, and now we need to create a new tag configuration. Google Ads. What we want here is the Google Tag, and this tag ID is where you'll just post the code. And what we want to do is have it triggering initialization all pages. So that's all good. We can leave it like that. And for the name, just call it something simple like this, and we'll paste the code there. Perfect. That's the first step. Now we have the Google tag set up for Google Ads. Now, the next step is to create a new tag for each one of these conversion actions you want to track. So that is your form submission, email link click, and phone link click. So this is the client site right here. We have the contact form, and then we also have the email and phone link click. So that is essentially why we want to track that inside of Google Ads. All right, so now we're going to start with the form submission event tracking. So we'll just go back to the Google Ads account, hover over goals, conversions, and summary. Now on this screen is what's known as your goals. So all of the conversion actions we're trying to track right here, you will have to assign them with a goal. The form submit and the phone call lead default, so don't worry about that. What we need to do is come over here and create a conversion action. This is the default screen. This just says that we are going to be tracking conversions from the website, which is true. We've got the forms and the email and phone link clicks. And then this one here is just for the phone call link, which actually features in your Google ad. So if you want to track that as well, I would leave that checked. Save and continue. So we can expand that, and now we can see all of the goals that we can assign our events to. For this example, we're going to do a lead form. So we're going to create a conversion, and we want to select the website as the data source. Now you've got two options here, automatically without code or manually with code. We're going to check this one since we are doing a Google Tag Manager code setup. So we'll select that one, conversion settings. You can name this what you want. So I'll just call that form submission. Action optimization. This is going to be a primary action because this is the number one goal of our entire Google Ads campaign, is to get someone to land on our website, like what they see, and then fill out a contact form and get in contact with the client about their services. So we're going to leave that as a primary action because we're going to be optimizing towards that. Down here, you can mess with the values of certain conversions. I'm just going to select this one and just leave it as $1 because we're not worried about the dollar value here. Don't have to worry about any of these. We'll click done, save and continue. All right, now to finish this conversion setup, you have three different options. Since we're using Google Tag Manager, we will just use this one here. And now what we want is the conversion label and the conversion ID. So we go back into Tag Manager. We're going to create a new tag configuration, Google Ads. And now this time, instead of the Google Tag, we're going to be doing the Google Ads conversion tracking. And this is where you add the conversion ID and the conversion label. Perfect. Come down here for triggering. Since we already had these conversion set up in Google Tag Manager, we're just going to piggyback off the trigger that we already have for the form submission. So I'm just going to select that one there and then just give it a name, something simple like that, and save. All right, so the best practice after setting up a new tag is just previewing it and making sure everything is firing correctly before moving on to the next one. So we'll just open up the preview mode, connect to the website, just make sure this is connected here. Cool, we have the Google tag and the Google Ads tag that is fired because the site has been loaded. And now when we fill out the contact form, we want to make sure that we have the Google Ads form submission tag firing. So we'll just fill out a test form real quick, submit, and we go back to Tag Assistant. Cool, we can now see that we have the form submission tag firing, which means that it is working correctly. You also have your other organic form submission event fire as well, but don't worry about that. Google Ads is only going to pull this one through. Another thing you can check is going into Google Analytics, clicking on the admin section, scrolling all the way down to the bottom, and clicking on debug view. This way you can see if your some events are also pulling through to your analytics account. So as you can see here, the form submission has fired. So that's perfect. Back to your tag manager and then just submit that to save all of your work. Okay, now we're just going to follow the same process again really quickly for the phone link clicks. So we'll just come over here, create a conversion action, continue. For this one, I'm actually not going to put it under phone call lead because this is where you're going to have the calls from ads conversions. So what I'm going to do is put it under contact, and I will set up the phone link click and the email link click are both in this one goal. So again, it is from the website, manually with code. Oops, I might just edit these settings really quick. This is a phone link click, and this is going to be also a primary conversion because this is a super high value event for the client. Again, $1, done, save and continue, tag manager, and here's your code again. So we're going to create a new tag, Google Ads, here, conversion ID, conversion label, triggering. We have the phone link click trigger, and we'll call this phone link click. It's under contact, and here's our phone link click primary conversion action. Don't worry about the status at the moment. We'll make sure that's working in a moment. So quickly come back in here. We'll just do the email conversion, continue, again, contact, create conversion, manually, conversion settings, email link click. Now this is probably not as important of a conversion action because an email could be someone who's a returning customer or someone who's just trying to find out a little bit more information. So I'm going to actually lean towards a secondary action here. Make that $1. Tag manager, create a new tag, conversion label, throw that in there. Triggering the email link click trigger, email link click, save and submit and publish that. I'm just going to quickly jump into preview mode and make sure those two events are firing correctly. So just pull up the website again, scroll down to the footer. So that's fired. So here's the email link click. If I click that, quit out of that, you can see that we have the email link click that is fired and also the organic email link click, which don't worry about. And then here's the phone link, click that one. And the phone link click has also fired. Come over to your debug view, just see if these are pulling through. Perfect. Now you can go back to your tag manager and submit and save that. All right, so the last thing I want to do is just make sure all of these goals are configured correctly. So if you click the drop down here, you can see here's our form submission, and that is a primary action, and the conversion source is the website. This is a default form submission, and it's Google hosted, so it's a Google form, and we'll never worry about that, so you can ignore this one. What you can actually do is, if you want, is just click on it and make it a secondary action so that it never gets in the way. Action optimization, secondary, and save. Go back to our goals. And the other one to look at is the phone call from ads. So this is if you choose to elect to put the phone call button on your Google Ads. Right now, this is actually a secondary action. I actually want this to be a primary because this is a high value action for us. So just click on it, edit settings, primary, go back to conversions really quick. Now down to contact where our last two conversion actions are. So we have the phone link click, which is a primary action, which is correct. That is what we want. And then we also have the email link click, which is a secondary action. Now what we have is the primary form submission, which is the number one goal, along with the calls from ads and the phone link clicks on the website as our three primary conversion actions. And then the email link click is our last secondary action. So there you have it. That is how you set up conversion tracking for your Google Ads account. You are now ready to set up your account and launch it, and yeah, start driving traffic and leads to your website. So yeah, if you found this video useful, please give it a like and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any other future content. Cheers.